Morning. Good morning. Well, I had something else in mind for the prelude, but this song I had in mind to echo the sentiments of the daily word, so the timing is perfect. It always is, right? Um, I was raised to believe in an idea of Satan or the devil as the father of lies, and I don't. Oh, my worldview has changed so dramatically. It's amazing what's possible in a lifetime. But fear is still a reality. We still have fears and false stories that can get in the way of our creations or our intended creations. So this song is addressed to fear that has been unaddressed and is still trying to run the show. I hear you calling me when I feel I'm falling free. No, you won't let go. But one thing I know is fear is not of my soul. Your voice is vicious, loud, telling me to pull back. Don't be so proud. Keep your light safe in this hole. But one thing I know, fear is not of my soul. Yours is a dirge I often hear, urging to merge my love with fear. And that's your mission. Lies can't cloud my vision, but I know that you'll try. I've already been way down low, but one thing I know is fear is not of my soul. Yours is a dirge I often hear, urging to merge my love with fear. And that's your mission. Lies can't cloud my vision, but I know that you'll try. I've already been way down low, but one thing I know is fear is not of my soul. Fear's had me way down low, but one thing I know is it is not of my soul. Thank you.
Today's opening prayer is from the book by John O'Donohue. It's a poem called "To a Morning Offering." The book by John O'Donohue is to bless the space between us. A beautiful book. So please join me in this prayer, a morning offering. I bless the night that nourished my heart to set the ghosts of longing free into the flow and figure of dream that went to harvest from the dark. bread for the hunger no one sees. All that is eternal in me welcomes the wonder of this day, the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, waves of desire I am sure to, and all the beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. Amen.
The song in welcome of the wonder of this day. It's beautiful. Have you spent a lifetime looking to find a miracle or wonder that could change your mind? You ain't found no reason yet to believe, but maybe hope's got something yet left up her sleeve. Something beautiful, something natural, ordinary magic. Amazing that we have this chance to be here, to let our love banish fear, and let our days overfill with ordinary magic. Have you felt the sunshine on your face? Have you heard the bird's version of Amazing Grace? Have you stood up on a mountain and tried to number the stars? Did you know that perfection is who you truly are? Always beautiful, always natural, ordinary magic. Amazing that we have this chance to be here, to let our love vanish fear, and let our days overfill with ordinary magic. Like wind chimes, a child's song, the whisper of wind in the leaves, the moonlight, the wide open arms of a sycamore tree. That's just ordinary magic. Amazing that we have this chance to be here, to let our love disappear the fear, and let our days overfill with ordinary magic, with ordinary magic. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So grateful to be here as the speaker this morning. Grateful to be sharing the stage with John and Lea. And grateful to Kaywood for his continued guidance and help with and encouragement with my talks. To some extent, the talk today is entirely about releasing fear, which we've just been hearing music about, and our affirmation was about that. So the title is Releasing Our Imprisoned Splendor, comes from Eric Butterworth's In the Flow of Life, which I recently started rereading. It is also, the actual quote is, consciousness is just what we have put into our minds. It is also the degree to which we have discovered and released our own imprisoned splendor and gotten into the flow. I knew that this was the title of a talk, but for quite some time it had no direction. Then one day, while reading a book called Drop the Rock, a direction for the talk appeared. More about that later. The first chapter of In the Flow of Life is called Living Life from Within Out, which made me think of my talk on It's an Inside Out Job, where I talked about how regularly taking a couple of conscious breaths centers me and reminds me that not only do I experience balance and harmony, but there's a ripple effect that travels outward. In his introduction to In the Flow of Life, Butterworth says, I am not concerned with putting ideas into your mind, but with awakening your superconscious awareness in which all things are known. Butterworth's inspiration for this was part one of Paracelsus by Robert Browning. Truth is within ourselves. It takes no rise from outward things, whate'er you may believe. There is an inmost center in us all where truth abides in fullness, and around, wall upon wall, the gross flesh hems it in, this perfect, clear perception which is truth. A baffling and perverting carnal mesh binds it and makes all error, and to know rather consists in opening out a way whence the imprisoned splendor may escape, than in effecting entry for a light supposed to be without. So, our gross flesh imprisons our splendor until we finally come to know that the origin of the light is within. In the world that we live in, it is often challenging to remain in the consciousness that all things are known and will be revealed. We seem to constantly need to figure it out for ourselves, and I've been reminded in 12-step meetings more than once that figure it out is not a program slogan. The first chapter of the book begins, you are about to embark on an adventure into the inner world of mind and spirit. Bring it on. The prevailing attitude or belief in our world is that we are born into this life empty, tabula rasa, and that all our knowledge comes from the experience of living life. Butterworth says, we have been misled into believing that the accumulation of the world's wisdom makes us wise, whereas actually it may only make us prejudiced. The truth is that we come here as beings already complete and on a journey of discovery that leads us down the path of living life from within out, about which he says, it is tragic in our day that we fail to introduce the child to the idea and process of superconscious mind, and to lead that child to experience the flow of universal force within. I don't know about the rest of you, but I was raised with a God who was benevolent and strict at the same time, kind of like my dad. My parents didn't understand unity at all. They were just glad that we were finally going to church regularly. In the life that I was born into, there was no guidebook for living life from within out, no guidebook for how to, quote, rekindle the gift of God that is within you, as Paul says in 2 Timothy. More times than I can say, I've been in the hell in the hallway, sometimes just lying there on the floor, hoping that something or someone will come along and rescue me, not understanding that it's a time of transition, a time of awakening, enduring the discomfort and or fighting against it instead of becoming comfortable with it. And there's an oxymoron for you, comfortable discomfort. Since in my experience, discomfort shows up periodically, it's probably good to become comfortable with it, which reminds me of Rumi's poem, The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor, Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Back to Drop the Rock. At one time, a man named Sandy Beach was a member of our church. He was a friend of Reverend Amalia Frank, who started our church. Since he made his transition many years ago, it's probably okay to say that as Sandy B, he was widely known in the AA community. He spoke at our church occasionally, and since many AA meetings are held in basements, he would joke about having finally made it upstairs. I'm going to read his story called Drop the Rock, which in a 12-step program is about working steps 6 and 7, involving identifying character defects and letting them go. Here's the story. When I heard about turning over all my old ideas, I realized that all my old ideas was my whole game plan for living. And it was like carrying around a 150-pound rock. But it was my rock. I put this thing together. This was the real me. I was this rock. And I came in here, and it was like I was in an ocean of alcoholism, and AA threw me a life preserver. But I am hanging onto that rock. I'm not going to let that thing go. This is my rock, and they're yelling out there, drop the rock. No, man, I can't drop the rock. I'm hanging onto the life preserver, and the boat full of AA members is coming along, and I am going under with the rock and hanging on, and I got this thing, and they are going, hey, drop the rock out there. I'm going down under, and everybody's yelling, it's great up here. Come on over. And I said, how do I get up there? Drop the rock and you'll make it. But I don't want to drop the rock. It's mine. And so finally one day, I don't know, something terrible happened because it took my attention away and I dropped it and I was terrified. There goes my rock. And while I was looking down there, I was like a water skier. I came up out of the top of the water and I'm going along and I'm going, what the hell? Why did I want that rock anyway? 3 members of AA wrote the book called Drop the Rock, and Sandy B's story is in the back of it. So why have I brought this up? Because I believe that in order to release our imprisoned splendor, we need to let go of what holds us back. We need to let go of old ways of being. Many of our character defects or flaws served a purpose in our lives, but perhaps we've now arrived at the transition that the hell in the hallway symbolizes, and it's time to drop the damn rock. And of course, meditation along with affirmation goes a long way toward helping us release our imprisoned splendor. I love what the Reverend David Bryan Adams has to say in the booklet, The Power of Prayer. Affirmative prayer has the power to change our perception of current experiences. It grounds us in the present such that we open ourselves to new possibilities for the future. Talking about his own healing journey, he asked himself the question, am I willing to affirm my innate wholeness and perfection and begin the process of releasing any beliefs that run counter to this truth? He continues, the moment we affirm willingness, the flood of infinite healing that is always available rushes to our aid, and the rock is gone, and we're in the flow with our splendor fully released. Chapter flow of In the Flow of Life is called the effusion of life, and this entire talk could have just been a series of quotes from chapters 1 and 4. In an article called How Trauma Wakes Us, Dan O'Brien says, in all these cases, the thought occurred to me, concurrent with my panic and dread, that I was receiving a gift if only I could survive it. Reverend Butterworth says, light is the reality of God within all creation. It is the reality of our own potential. But what is light in this context? It's not sunlight or moonlight or starlight or incandescent light. According to Reverend Butterworth, this effusion of light is what we call instinct or ESP or psychic phenomenon, which society frequently dismisses as just being weird or even worse, blasphemous. He says that the guidance is not a special act of God, not an exterior force acting on us. Divine guidance is natural, and praying to a God outside may block the flow of light and guidance from within. We need to be still and know that we are in the flow, because as he writes, in the flow of life, there is the potential for peace and understanding and cooperation in every relationship. And as Lao Tzu says, whoever flows as life has solved the human equation. I know this, as do most of you, and I realize I'm preaching to the choir here, but we all need a reminder from time to time. And since Reverend Lafayette Seymour, whose business card simply had the word reminder under his name, isn't here to remind us, I'll do it today. And I'm so grateful that Kaywood reminded me that today, August 8th, was Reverend Seymour's birthday. So happy birthday, Lafayette. There are many times when I put that rock around my neck and go through the day wondering what's wrong, until I finally realize, duh, I could sit down and meditate or pray or both. Quote, the universe does not bestow favors on the few whom it seeks out as interpreters. The universe gives to those who plug in. Mediocrity is self-inflicted and genius is self-bestowed. I'm going to say that again. Genius is self-bestowed. We should cultivate the silence, and when we are alone, the universe will talk to us in flashes of inspiration. Our indwelling Christ is our divine guidance, and all we need to do is learn what that rock is that's blocking it, drop it, and step into the light. Butterworth does say that this may take effort and perseverance. I don't know about all of you, but bestowing genius on myself, couldn't do that, not that smart, not that worthy, not good enough, and there's the rock. Decisions about what to do or which way to go should not be made, they should be discovered. Note to self, stop trying to figure it out. Which brings me to the song that Karen performed with Wayne a couple of weeks ago. It's called So Many Stars, and I'm grateful to Karen for sharing the lyrics with me. It begins. The dawn is filled with dreams. Which one is mine? So many dreams. One must be right for me. Which dream of all dreams? When there's a dream for every star, and there are oh so many stars, so many stars. When our splendor is fully released, we are aligned with our divine nature. We will know that we can reach out and grab one of those stars, or two, or three, or four, as many stars as we need to illuminate the way and keep us on our path. While all paths ultimately lead to the same place, the path is different for each one of us. What is your path? And how will it lead you within to the light? A final word from Reverend Butterworth. There are not thousands of things to learn in the life. There is only one thing to learn, to know the knower within, and to sincerely and regularly acknowledge him in all our ways. This is to understand the superconscious level of mind, to learn to think vertically and not just horizontally, to deal with transcendental and not just human logic. Be still and know that you are in the flow, and living life vertically, reach down to acknowledge and give thanks for all that has gone before, and reach up for the stars. And that brings us to our meditation. So if you would all please join me in taking 2 or 3 conscious breaths. Envision that star at your heart center. Start there. The glowing light within. What is it that you would like to reach down for? What is it that you would like to give gratitude to for a lesson learned, progress made, an awakening? What fear would you like to release in this moment? And what is the star that you would like to reach for? Maybe it's unknown at this time. So affirm that we are open to the stars, open to what is coming, open to receive our highest good. And with open hearts, we embrace our lives, every bit of them. Face to face with life and alone with myself, I am left with only what I know. This is not a repertoire of words or statements that I can quickly call to mind, but the simple faith that I need to be still and know that I am in the flow. And sit in the silence for a moment. Let's come back into our bodies, come back into this space, and continue on with our service. And so it is, and so it will always be. Amen.
Grateful every time I'm reminded and remember to let go of a rock, to drop a rock that has been keeping me from rising to the surface of my life. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for that reminder and that invitation again. I'm good enough, 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 I'm good enough. I'm better than good enough. I am good enough. I am good, oh, I'm better than good enough. When the clouds, when the shadow of doubt say I'm not good enough, gonna shout, gonna let the truth out. I'm better than good enough. I'm good enough, 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 I'm good enough. I'm better than good enough. I'm good enough, 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 I'm good enough. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. I am good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I am good enough. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. When the clouds in the shadow of doubt say I'm not good enough. I'm good enough. Gonna shout, gonna let the truth out. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough. When the clouds in the shadow of doubt say I'm not good enough. Gonna shout, gonna let the truth out. I am better than good enough. I'm good enough.
Wow. Lea, you are just a gift to us.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you so much.
Well, thank you.
And I love how you could do harmonies with yourself. That's just incredible.
Well, there's a box down there that makes it possible, but
Well, I know the box.
you.
The box is a tool, but you are the instrument. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
John.
so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, as Jim has said, it's always good to be grateful because an attitude of gratefulness just sets the tone for our lives. So let's be grateful for everything today, everything tomorrow, and everything to come. If you'll now join me in a closing prayer. This is another poem from the book To Bless the Space Between Us by John O'Donohue. This one is called For Presence. Awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. Have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. Receive encouragement when new frontiers beckon. Respond to the call of your gift and the courage to follow its path. Let the flame of anger free you of all falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame. May anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. Take time to celebrate quiet miracles that seek no attention. Be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. And may you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. Amen.